Hello and welcome to this video. This is going to be a short video explaining what the NLP Master Hint cards are. Now, I don't know about you, if you're into NLP, I think you'll find these useful, and I'll explain a little bit why. Master Hint cards, what are they? Well, basically they're just that. They are a collection of 9 sort of A4 type cards. I mean, you could print these smaller if you really wanted to. I mean, they're not really cards. You could make them into cards and laminate them, but you know, typically I've sort of put mine into a little plastic folder here. So what are they? I mean, in short, basically they are a concise reference point for an NLP practitioner, and also sort of a hint, you know, as to something, because I don't know about you, but I've been studying NLP, and I got my master practitioner certificate in 2007. I've been practicing NLP ever since, and I don't know about you, but I don't remember everything. I mean, I don't know how anyone ever really remembers everything unless you've got that kind of a brain. But anyway, the whole point of these is basically as a prompt. Now, this was inspired by something else that I got when I was doing my NLP training and master practitioner training, and I can't remember where it came from, but somebody brought this sort of massive poster that had basically all of this on there. I mean, you know, as good as everything that's on here. And so I wanted to just go through what these are. So we've got the first one, is basically it's all in the mind. It explains what NLP is about, and you know, obviously neuro-linguistic programming, and then obviously the 4 pillars of NLP, and then the operating principles and NLP presuppositions. So that, you know, they're all there. This is not a concise, comprehensive hint card. It's to try and prompt you to remember certain things, you know, like for instance, obviously the operating principles, you know, the map is not the territory, there is no failure, only feedback, the meaning of your communication is the response that you get, you know, I am in charge of my mind and therefore my results, and all of those kind of things. And you know, can you remember the 4 pillars of NLP? You know, it's about building rapport, sensory awareness, outcome thinking, and behavioral flexibility. Moving on, we then have, you know, begin with the end in mind. So imagine well-formed outcomes. And so, you know, in the positive, sensory evidence, context specifics, ecology, your own part, and obviously the motivation for it and such like. And then we've got filters, which is also quite useful. So again, you know, the map is not the territory. So obviously we've got the VAK model and the olfactory and the gustatory, and the territory reality, the external event here, and then we've got the map perception. You know, we're then moving into the meta programs, and then we've got the modeling process and such like, you know, generalizations and distortions, that, you know, again, the territory reality part. So again, you know, this is obviously communication. Moving on, we've got the eye accessing cues as a hint. Again, I think over time, the more you do things, you know, you learn what you want to learn effectively. That's how I seem to work, and I think that's how a lot of people work. You know, you can get a whole manual on something, you know, a whole book on a particular subject. How much of that book are you going to remember if you don't really use 100% of it? You're really only going to remember the tools and such like that you want to learn, or that you appeal to you. You know, it's the way the world works. And so there are certain things which are, you know, really, really good. So you've got the eye accessing cues here as if you're looking at someone else. Visual construction, kinesthetic, audio construction, visually remembered, auditory remembered, and auditory internal. And then we've got the learning for mastery, the 5 stages to learning new skills. You know, we start off obviously at the unconscious incompetence level, then conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence, and then conscious competence of unconscious competence. So, you know, We've then now got language tools, so linguistic presuppositions and such, like the Milton model, the meta model. It just very briefly outlines what each of those things are, the language tools, and then using metaphors and reframing, and the various different ways of reframing. Again, you know, we've got the new code of you know, what NLP and psychology is about. I mean, I think this is one of the things that really kind of irritates me when I meet somebody who's been brought up or has trained as a psychologist in the traditional method, if you like. You know, what people have been doing for the last 60, 70 years. They don't seem to view NLP as being any form of psychology, and I've done psychology training and I've done NLP, and to me they're one and the same thing. It's just that NLP is, as it says, the new code. It's the new way of doing things. It's a new way of working. It's a new way of having a toolkit to help people. So we've got, you know, rapport and sensory awareness and diagnosis, choosing and applying resources, etc. And then we go on to state management as a hint card. Exploring time, you know, past and future pacing, you know, shifting time and language patterns and such like. And then obviously state management, we've got anchoring, calibration, elicitation and submodalities. Again, it's just very, very brief reminders of what those things are, you know. And then we go over onto Dilt's levels, which I love this process. This is one of the things that I kind of remember, because I remember it having, in, you know, many years ago, I remember going through this process with my therapist, who was an NLP you know, practitioner. She was actually a master practitioner and a trainer at the time, and this helped me big time. And so guess what? I remember it. I remember it more, and when I've used it with other people, you know, because I have a passion and knowledge about and experience about how this works. You know, we've got the future, the past, present, and future, the timeline, the unified field, and such like. So, you know, spiritual level, identity, values and beliefs, capabilities, behaviors, and environment. And then we've got modeling excellence here. You know, about modeling other people and learning through modeling. And then we go on to beliefs, thoughts, emotions and behaviors. So the know, think, feel and do. You know, what would be more useful if, you know, that kind of questioning system. And then, you know, limiting beliefs and stubborn beliefs, embedding a new belief, increasing belief about capability, etc. And I mean, this is quite compact but comprehensive hints about those various different areas. And then, well, this past bit is just sort of really giving you a hint on where NLP is being used. Now, if this is not psychology, I don't know what is. Obviously, you know, I'm in the therapy side. It's being used in sports, spirituality, I'm in that side as well, and relationships, I'm in that side as well. So, you know, it really just goes to show where NLP is being used by people. So in a nutshell, that's really what these cards are, these hint cards. I mean, you know, get them printed out yourself, or I like to put them into a little folder here, and they are a really good, just simple references to, you know, oh, what was that again? You know, when somebody comes to you with an issue that they want to resolve, and you think, well, oh my goodness, there was something that could, you know, a tool that could help them out. This is where I find these things, and I have referred back to this chart that I took a photograph of many years ago. The company that produced it no longer produced it, which I thought was a real shame. But I also found at the time that the chart, I think it was an A0 chart of some sort. I mean, there was a lot of information on a very big poster. The beauty with this is that you can carry this around with you. You can carry this as a, you know, PDF file or as an image file on your phone. You can have it printed out, you know, like this. And so, you know, it's quite useful. Anyway, that's really what the NLP Master Hint cards are about. I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to sharing with you some more knowledge.